Bloodborne is a game and some stuff happens in it. What kind of stuff? I got you. Okay, so there's this guy and his name is whatever you want it to be. Let's call him John Bloodborne.
Oh my god, it's John Bloodborne!
He takes a little doctor's visit to Yharnam, this super gothic city that figured out how to cure every disease. See, there's this church called the Healing Church that has this magic blood, and it turns out if you inject it directly inside your body, it heals everything about you, like headaches and humanity. Where did they get it? Don't worry about it. On a completely unrelated note, people are going banana bonkers and turning into werewolves and beasts and stuff. So the church has two choices. One, stop using the magic blood that turns people into monsters, or two, devote countless man-hours, resources, and money to hunting the beast and hoping the problem solves itself. Cowabunga, Hunter's got a hoont, baby! So John Bloodborne shows up on the night of the hunt and goes, "How do you do, fellow hunters?" And the townsfolk go, "We are going to perform violence on your body." Turns out that Yharnam is not doing great and is basically on the verge of total societal collapse because of, you know, the werewolves. And just about everyone is either banana bonkers or in full-on beast mode. It doesn't take long for John Bloodborne to get turned into a greasy smear on the cobblestone, and he dies. So he wakes up in this dream world. Oh yeah, the dream world's a thing. Don't worry about it. And meets this old dude named Gehrman, who's all like, "Hey buddy, wanna go hunt beast without asking any questions?" And John Bloodborne goes, "Boy, do I." And Gehrman goes, "That's the spirit. Here's some weapons. Hey, wanna fuck this doll?" And John Bloodborne goes, "You're a freaky little man and you make me sad. I'm going back to the waking world now." So back in the waking world, John Bloodborne goes on a little murder spree across the city, eventually ending up at this big church. After killing a fox deer werewolf MILF, he finds the skull of this dude named Lawrence, who founded the church, and he gets a little vision that gives him the tiniest bit of context for the story. So here's the thing about these Souls games. A lot of the game's backstory is told in item descriptions and the environment. All the information on what happened before the story starts is spread across the game and is super obscure unless you're really looking for it. But I'm just gonna get it all out of the way here. Okay, so, long ago, there was a society called the Temerians, who are these badass superhumans who'd figured out that we are not alone in the universe. See, there are these eldritch gods out there in the cosmos, and the biggest, baddest ones are called the Great Ones. And the Temerians, those guys were all about them, their Great Ones. Their queen even had a baby named Murgo, with a Great One. And even though Murgo came out all calcified and dead, little baby Murgo's consciousness swooped off somewhere into the dream world. A long time after the Temerian civilization crumbled, there was a school called Bergenworth who were researching the Temerians. One day, they were exploring the Temerian labyrinths under Yharnam when they discovered a great one called Ebritas that missed the bus home and got left behind. And they were all like, "Hey girl, you looking hella fine." And she was all like, and they were like, "We have no idea what you just said, so we will now take you home with us." So they took the goopy old goddess home to give her belly rubs and treats and steal her blood, which they called Old Blood, because they were good at names. They were like, "Hey, being human is kind of dumb and lame. What if we could be gods like her about it instead?" So there are these two guys who were super into ascending humanity, but they had different ideas on how to do it. Master Willem, the leader of the scholars, was like, "We need cosmic insight, and by that I literally mean we need to grow eyes inside our brain." And his top student and all-around bestie Lawrence is like, "Nah, eyes on the inside is for wimps and losers. We should inject that goopy old god blood directly into our bodies instead." And Master Willem is like, "Hey man, that god juice is hella stanky. I don't think that's a great idea." And Lawrence was all like, "I see your point, and I've given it a lot of thought, and I've prepared a well-researched academic rebuttal." "Shut up, loser." And Willem is like, "You're dumb. No you. No you. No you. And furthermore, I'm out of here, Gramps." So Lawrence and his dudes leave to go study Godblood and then make a church about it. The church tries a bunch of wacky experiments with the old blood to see if they can ascend to godhood and commune with Ebritas, but that doesn't work out super great. But hey, turns out that gnarly god blood is great at curing every disease ever. So the healing church gets super popular and eventually dominates pretty much every level of society in Yharnam. They lock Ebritas away in the basement as a constant source of healing blood and keep trying to flirt with her, but they never figure out how to actually talk to this sad, lonely god. So now the healing church basically runs the show, and they're like, the old blood is awesome, and there will be no negative consequences of using it, probably forever. So while Lawrence is doing that, Master Willem and his super smarty pants gang keep trying to grow eyes inside their heads. But oh no, there's actually a third group called the School of Mensis, and they've got these big old cage hats, and they go, you guys are both dumb. We're gonna make our own great one. Hey, by the way, wanna see a magic trick? So they do a ritual to try to contact Murgo in the dream world and end up accidentally summoning the moon. Except it's all red and goopy. Turns out there's a god up on the blood moon called the Moon Presence, who may or may not be Nyarlathotep from Lovecraft. So it shows up and starts getting up to rapscallious behavior. The ritual causes all kinds of mischief. The nightmare world kind of bleeds into the real world, people turn into crazy flesh monsters, and there's these eldritch horrors every dang where. All over Yharnam, people are going banana bonkers, getting pregnant with eldritch god babies, and stubbing their toes on the furniture at a higher than average rate. But more importantly, the blood moon causes the beast plague to activate, and everyone who had been using god blood starts turning into werewolves, which eventually leads to the whole hunter business. The Mensis dudes all take a nap and yeet their minds into the dream world, leaving behind just a big old mess. So one of the smarty pants Bergenworth gals named Rom goes, this will not do. So she turns into a potato spider about it, which basically throws a blanket over the problem so nobody notices. As long as Rom's alive, the blood moon and the ritual and the big ol' eldritch monsters are all invisible, which is basically the same thing as solved. Good job, Rom. So John Bloodborne goes over the river and through the woods to the ruins of Bergenworth and kills Rom. Good job, John Bloodborne. But whoopsies, killing Rom reveals the true nightmare the world has become. Bad job, John Bloodborne. So now the moon is all red and super close, and all the eldritch monsters are visible now, and everyone's going banana bonkers. John Bloodborne is like, well, werewolves were fun. Guess we're doing Lovecraft now. So he makes his way through the village where the Mensis guys did their ritual and discovers that they all decided to take a nap about it and yeet themselves into the dream world. Hey, I go to the dream world all the time, John Bloodborne says. Sure would be crazy if there was a connection there. So he follows them into this little corner of the dream world called the Nightmare of Mensis, where he finds his rapscallion named Mikolash, who was once the head honcho of the Mensis dudes. Mikolash has gone full banana bonkers, and he's like, ooh, majestic! And John Bloodborne goes, that's a dumb hat. They have a fight. John Bloodborne wins. Good riddance. But oh no, the nightmare ritual is still happening anyway. So John Bloodborne fights his way through the nightmare until he finds little baby Murgo, who's being protected by this freaky angel wet nurse thing. John Bloodborne is like, hey buddy, I gotta do something about that baby to stop this whole nightmare business. And the wet nurse goes, John Bloodborne goes, I have no idea what you just said, so I will now do violence on your body. They have a fight, John Bloodborne wins, and Murgo finally dies for realsies, bringing an end to the Mensis ritual. Hooray! So, along the journey, John Bloodborne found 3 umbilical cords that belong to baby gods. These things are super powerful, right? Remember the Mensis ritual that caused everything to go to shit? Yeah, that ritual used just one of them. And now John Bloodborne has 3. He takes these powerful bits of writhing god flesh and is like, oh sweet, snack time. And he eats them. Look, we've all been there. Sometimes you just get the munchies for godly flesh. What are you gonna do? So he goes back to the dream world where he finds Gehrman, who's like, hey, guess what? I'm actually the first hunter, and I've been trapped in this dream for hella fortnight. Wanna die about it? And John Bloodborne goes, nope. And Gehrman goes, let's dance, baby. And John Bloodborne goes, my guy, you are an old pervert in a wheelchair, and I have maxed out stats. What are you gonna... I would like to withdraw my statement. So the first hunter and the Godslayer square up in this field of pretty flowers for one last epic struggle. Mentor versus student. Old hunter versus new game plus. They have a fight. John Bloodborne wins. And then the Moon Presence shows up. Turns out the Moon Presence had trapped Gehrman in the dream world, manipulating him and other hunters into hunting down and killing other great ones. Which, hey, guess what? You just did. Good job, John Bloodborne. With Gehrman dead, old Mooney Pete wants a replacement host to keep this party going. But guess what? Turns out that this horrific god beast from the moon is allergic to dudes who eat umbilical cords. Obviously. And now, John Bloodborne is powerful enough to fight back. They have a fight, John Bloodborne wins, and the moon presence is slain. Now that the plot's been resolved through incredible violence, John Bloodborne turns into a cute baby squid thing, ascending beyond the limits of humanity and becoming a baby great one, and accidentally pulling off what centuries of researchers never could. Turns out, the secret to godhood isn't blood or eyes or crazy cage hats, it's feeling kinda snackish for alien body parts. And that's all you need to know to ascend to godhood. Good luck!
Ooh, majestic! You used your eyes to watch this video all the way to the very end, as you once did for the vacuous ROM. Grant us subs. Grant us subs. Subscribe to Love Story Gaming on YouTube and Twitch, where we stream games and books and secrets of the endless void. A subscriber is a subscriber, even in a stream. Ah, the patrons, or some say patronsism. Do you hear our special thanks? Behold the Ascension of Bella Luna Song, Blue Scala, Galactic, Luke Kindig, Luna Everhart, Melissa Wilson, Moon Mad Eyes, Owlses, Pen, and Wingnut. Because Miyazaki only writes 80% of any given story and leaves the fans to do the actual work of making it make sense, the School of Mensis would like to extend an extra eldritch thank you to Galactic for his help unraveling the madness of the lore. Now let us converse about things most hidden, and let our heads shudder at, oh shit, he's here.